Hello, everyone. This is Tom Painter again, the founder of SuccessMoneyFoundation.org. I am so thrilled to be here today. We have a special guest. This is Carine Clark. She is the chairman of the board of Domo. And as you know, many of the stats and all the stuff that we do to be able to take all the competitiveness and the fun of the foundation is designed, and it goes through Domo. And if it wasn't for Domo, we couldn't do this amazing stuff that we're doing. She is an incredible woman, an incredible leader. And she is, as I mentioned, she is the chairman of the board for Domo. She's ran many, many businesses. She's an advocate. She is a cancer survivor. And more importantly, she's an inspiration. And when my kids and grandkids, I would love them to be able to listen to Carine because of the great woman that she is and the massive impact that she's having around the world. So I'm going to introduce you to Carine Clark. Take it away, Carine.
Tom, thank you so much. I'm joking today that I want to start every day with one of these webcasts because Tom always makes me feel so good. Always makes me feel like I've done great things. I'm actually so humbled to be here, and you're going to find there's nothing special about me. It's just that I never give up and that I'm a student. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts and ideas around what success has meant for me. And I really do believe that if you decide today what success means to you and what you're going to do, that it will be a step in the direction to get you where you need to be. So this is me when I rang the closing bell at the NASDAQ, and my mother, who always wanted me to be a hairdresser, was, she was always so surprised that I was actually going to do well in tech. And so it turns out that the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Most people who are successful, they're not smarter, they're not better, they're not luckier, they're not cooler, they just work harder. I've been a CEO of 3 different tech companies, and I got up earlier than everyone else. I read everything, I studied everything, I worked all the time. And so people are like, oh, you're so lucky that you're the CEO. It's like, gosh, I'm not I'm not an overnight success. It's like 20 years of going in early, staying late, learning how to do things on the side. And so success isn't just something that just happens. And you don't have to know every single step, by the way. You don't have to know the whole plan. I tell people, just have a watercolor of what you want to do and what you want to be. Oh, and by the way, you can change your mind. But you just have to figure out the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. It really is just a series of steps going in the right direction. And if you take a step that's not in the right direction, then you just recalibrate. So you really can be the change that you want to see in your life. If you're not happy, just be happy. The thing is that happiness really doesn't have anything to do with how much you have or how lucky you are. It really is a state of mind. In our family, we have a quote that we talk about all the time, which was a Gandhi quote. Let's see if I get it right. I was mad because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. And that we decide to be happy. Happiness is a choice. And we decide how we're going to respond to things. So if you're not productive, be productive. If you're not happy, be happy. Just start being what you want to be. A lot of times we talk to ourselves and we say things to ourselves that we would never say to anyone else. I'm not, and I have like this fill in the blank. I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not, and we say things to ourselves like, oh, I'm not thin enough. I'm not, smart enough is the one that keeps coming up. Guess what? Stop doing that. Stop telling yourself these things. It's like this fiction that we tell ourselves. If you find that you're telling yourself things that are not true, stop it. And learn the language of standing up. Learn how to speak up. When you're in the classroom, ask questions. It doesn't matter if the questions are right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Ask questions. Find your voice. And it's okay to say, help me understand if you don't understand something. Don't pretend that you got it. No. Learn the language of standing up for yourself. Learn the language of speaking up. When you walk into a room, introduce yourself to people. When you meet people, shake their hand, look them right in the eye, ask them questions. People that you admire, people that you want to be like, or people that you get to meet that you want to learn something from, ask them questions. I find that most people want to help. Most people are kind. And if you ask someone a question, how did you do this? How can I do this? You will find that they will invest in you. Do you know there really isn't anything you can't do? Do you have a sense for that? You have a sense for the opportunity that's ahead of you, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are in your life, that you really can achieve such great things. Tom knows this, that I'm a cancer survivor. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with this horrible, horrible ovarian cancer and cancer of the appendix, and I only had a 20% chance of beating it. And if I thought about the 80% chance of dying, it was too overwhelming. And I thought about what I had to do to get through it. It was pretty overwhelming. And so I am a vision and a plan person. My vision to not die, my plan to do everything to not die. And then I put myself to work. I became a student of the cancer that I had. And I started to look for different protocols. So I found a really hard protocol, which was 3 cancer drugs every single week for 6 months, and 1 drug every 21 days for a year, 18 months. And I said, this is the one I want to do. And they said, look, everyone finds that protocol, no one can do it. And I was like, well, no one can do it yet. I'm a full embrace of the word yet. And so that's what I did. Was it hard? Yep, it was really hard. But the alternative was to die. So I survived. And you could say, well, maybe I was just really lucky. But I worked really hard to not die because I wanted my sons to see what it meant to stand up to something really awful and really horrible, because they're going to have hard things in their lives. So there really isn't anything you can't do. When you say to yourself, nothing's hard for me, it turns out that nothing's hard for you. So you have something that happens to you like, gosh, this feels really hard. Cancer felt really, really hard. But when you're like, good thing nothing's hard for me. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to figure it out. And I just got to figure out the very next step, and then the next one, and then the next one. And that's how I get through almost every really hard thing that I have. And the other secret is that everyone has really hard things. Everyone has really hard things. Think about embracing nothing's hard for me. So I've taught that to my sons. We have a sign over our front door that says his family does hard things. When I was in the middle of my treatment, my younger son said, please take that down. I'm tired of doing really hard things. Now they both say, nothing's hard for me. And when it feels hard, they're like, my older son's like, Mom, this feels really hard. And I'm like, it's a good thing nothing's hard for you. He's like, that's right. It's a good thing that nothing's hard for me. And both my sons speak Chinese, by the way, because they decided nothing was hard for them and they learned how to speak Mandarin. So it turns out that happiness is a choice and that you can choose to be happy. No matter what you have, you can choose to be happy. It also turns out that people are attracted to cheerful people. And when you're in the ditch, working hard, dragging through mud, trying to get things done, the cheerful ones are the ones that are going to attract the leaders. The cheerful ones are the ones that people are going to gravitate toward. The cheerful ones are the ones that people are going to say, how come you're so happy? And you're going to say, because I choose to be happy. And it turns out that kindness is so simple. It costs nothing to be kind. And when you're kind, it's a way to give back and to lift other people. So if you lift as you rise in your personal life and in your career, you will find that you are more lifted. Tom talked about giving back. The more that you give back, the more that you get. I always look at volunteerism as my rent for living on the planet. And so in our family, we're always looking for ways to lift. And no matter where you are in your personal life or your career, you can lift others because there's always someone who could use your help. And when you lift others, it really does lift you. It really does elevate you. And some people that have figured that out, they're super successful. And other people that haven't figured that out, they're miserable. they're never happy. No matter what, they're never happy. No matter how much they have, no matter how much they achieve, they're never happy. So think about lifting as you rise in your personal life and in your career. I always tell my team, be the guy, be the one that people want to talk to, be the winner, be the one that people want help from, be the one that people want on their team, be the one that they can count on, be the person that is working harder than everyone else. Be the guy. Everyone wants to be with that person. In the lifeboat exercise, when people are like CEOs are thinking about who to eliminate in their company or who to get rid of, who to not promote, it's never the guy, the one that always shows up, the one that has a great attitude, the one that's cheerful, the one that everyone wants on their team, the one that has lots of opportunities. Be that person. And when you're a student of the company, of your schoolwork, of the team, you know what it takes to be the guy. And it's so important for you to see yourself as that person that can lift other people, that can figure things out. It's just hard work. And the real truth is that most people don't want to put in the work. You know, people look at me, they're like, oh, she's successful. She's a woman in tech. There aren't many women in tech who have achieved what she's achieved. They think I'm like an overnight success. Yeah, I'm like a 30-year overnight success. I'm a consistently showing up, consistently learning, consistently pushing. And do I have setbacks? You bet I have setbacks. I have setbacks all the time. Do I have failures? Yes, I have failures. And I've learned more from my failure than from any of my successes. And I embrace disruption because, hey, when you have cancer, that's like a massive disruption. But I learned more from my cancer than from any other lap I had to run. I learned that people are good. I learned there's nothing that we can't do. And I learned that we all have a limited time on this planet. And so I'm going to leave a legacy of talent that works beautifully without me. And that my sons are going to be people of tremendous faith, of tremendous integrity, and of amazing kindness. And that they are going to lift as they rise in their personal life and their career. So a lot of people think, oh, I don't have any talent, or I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm going to give you a list of 10 things that take zero talent that will get you noticed, that will be part of your success. And I put this image of a book here because as students, I'm a perennial student. There are 10 things that you can do that take no talent. And the people that are successful have figured this out. My best employees are not the ones with perfect grades. They're not the ones that were born into opportunity and money. They're not the ones, they're not better than anyone else. They just do these things. And to me, I'll have them at every single company. So the first one, be on time. Be on time. I'm early. Be on time. Most people can't figure that out. Second thing, have a work ethic. Be a hard worker. My younger son doesn't look like a basketball player, 6'3", 290. Tried out for the basketball team, junior high, 2 years, never made it. His freshman year, he tried out, he made it. We were all stunned. The coach said he made it because no kid has worked harder to be on a team. That kid came early, he stayed late, he put the balls away. He did every single thing that the coach told him to do. And when he graduated from high school, he had been on the varsity team his whole career. He got an award for the hardest work ethic, the biggest work ethic. And the coach said in his entire career, he's never had a kid who had worked so hard to achieve what he achieved. And that was, I was so proud, like super proud mom moment, because this kid had tremendous work ethic. And guess what? It helps him today. So he's in Australia today, speaking Mandarin on a religious mission. And he's like, Mom, this is hard. I'm like, good thing nothing's hard for you. He's like, good thing's nothing hard for me. Okay, the third thing, effort. Put some effort into things. Things take work. Next thing, body language. Pay attention to your body language. Are you leaning into discussions? Are you lifting? Are you helping? Are you showing up? Are you standing up? Next thing, energy. Do you have energy? A lot of people, they show up, they're so lethargic. It's like, well, I don't want to ask them to help me because they have no energy. Attitude. You have a great attitude, right? How many times have you heard that? You have a terrific attitude. The next one's passion. Have a passion for what you're doing. Even if you don't love it, by the way, have a passion, throw yourself into it. Say, look, I'm going to be great at this. Next thing, be coachable. I can't tell you how many people think they know everything and they're not teachable. Guess what? They stagnate. They don't progress. They don't get promoted. Last two things, do extra. Go the extra mile. If you got to read 2 chapters, read 3. If you're supposed to clean up the storage room, clean up the lunchroom too. Be the guy that does extra. And then the last thing is be prepared. I'm so surprised when I interview candidates for joining any of my companies, and they haven't even looked at my website. They don't even know what we do. They're not prepared. I'm surprised how many people show up to do a presentation they haven't even practiced. Be prepared. 10 things. I'm going to read them over quickly again for you. 10 things. Be on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, be coachable, do extra, doing the extra, and then be prepared. Such a simple list of things that take 0 talent. So you have your whole life ahead of you, this road. You decide where you're going to go. You decide how you're going to get there. You might be surprised how successful you become in your personal life, in your career, by just deciding today that you're going to do the simple little things that take some effort, but they're not hard. And there are miracles in small steps. There's miracles in walking just in the direction that you want to go. So stay directionally correct. You're going to make mistakes. Doesn't matter. Keep going. If you make a decision and you make a step in the wrong direction, recalibrate. Because if you recalibrate right away, you're going to stay on the mark. And don't forget that to stay on the conveyor belt, most people give up too soon. So think about what it is that you want to achieve. Make sure that you have a vision and a plan. Don't let anybody throw you off your game. And you can change your mind, by the way. I wanted to be a math teacher when I was a kid. I'm not a math teacher. I'm really good at math, but I run tech companies, which is way better for me than being a math teacher. And so it's okay to recalibrate. So hopefully you've learned something today, at least one nugget that will help you in your career and in your personal life. And you will decide what success means to you. Don't let anybody else decide that for you. So thank you for your time today. And Tom, thank you for letting me spend time with your people.
Well, thank you so much. You know, you're just an amazing inspiration for so many people. And again, I want to just reread these 10 steps. Be on time. You know, my father-in-law used to say, if you're not early, you're late. So be on time. Part of success is just showing up. Show up and do the effort. Have a work ethic. You know, I can't say enough for that. You know, sometimes being the smartest is actually a liability. If you don't have to work for things, you don't know how to work for things, you don't know how to make things happen. Sometimes just being very ambitious and stupid is probably the greatest gift. The foundation, we're not academic, we're doers. We get things done. And so that's why the foundation was designed. Effort, got to go make the effort. Body language, you know, act like if. Pretend like you're that person. Model that person. When I was when I took over the company and became the president in my 20s, and we were doing about $7 million a year, and I grew it from 7 million to 35 million. And one of the things I did was I acted as if I knew how to do it. And I modeled people that did it. Here's Bob Allen. How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he dress? Here's Mark Victor Hansen. Here's Ronald Reagan. Here's the people that I watched. And I said, well, what do they do? And how can I do it like them? And I modeled them. Body language. That's, you know, how did he stand? How did he talk? How did he approach things? Attitude. That's all about attitude. You know, if you think you can, go try. Failure is not a problem. You just got to keep trying at it. And enjoy the losses, because if you don't have loss, success means nothing. If somebody just gives you stuff, you know, it's not any big deal. You want to have to earn it. Attitude, passion, be coachable, massive part. That's probably one of the gifts that I was given, was to be coachable. I'm okay that I don't know how to do it, and I'm okay to take direction for somebody else. Do the extra, absolutely, go that second mile. and be prepared. Boy Scout motto, be prepared. That's probably one of the things that I learned most out of the scouting was to be prepared. So thank you so much, Carine. You have been awesome. We so appreciate you being here. This has been a wonderful, wonderful class with you here. I know that she has some other commitments that she's got to go to, and I'm just looking at the chat. The chat is just blowing up with all these people putting these wonderful pieces in here. I'm just looking real quickly here. Oh, they're just cranking in there, just tons and tons of them. So I'm going to say goodbye to our Facebook friends, and then we're going to come back for another segment, and we're going to take just a couple questions. Carine's got to bounce here in a matter of minutes. But thank you all for being here. And remember, make a difference, make it happen. And remember that every life is precious. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on our next call.